Hello everyone. Today we're going to take a look at the very simple, intuitive way to derive interest rate parity. Remember that interest rate parity is an international parity relationship that must hold when markets are in equilibrium and also to avoid arbitrage opportunities. And it provides a linkage between interest rates in two countries. So to derive this, we're simply going to assume that you have $1 to invest for 1 year. And again, for simplicity, we're going to assume that we are considering only default-free investments. So this way you do not have to worry about default risk. And you can either invest in the US at the domestic interest rate, or you can invest abroad. In our case, we're using UK as the example. So you can invest in the UK at the UK interest rate, and also hedge your exchange rate risk using forward contracts. Remember, in order to invest in the UK at the UK interest rate, you will need to buy pounds. So essentially you have to convert your dollar into pounds. Now you start dealing with exchange rate risk, but you can hedge that using forward contracts. So let's take a look at these two options. Remember, we said that investment period with both is 1 year. So I can invest in the US or I can invest in the UK. So let's take a look at the US case. So investment period is 1 year, default risk is 0. Remember, we're considering only default-free securities like US Treasury government Treasury securities. And initial investment in dollars is $1 that we're starting with. In the case of US, the local currency is the dollar, right? So it is also a dollar. So initial investment amount is $1. Maturity value in local currency is, well, simply $1 multiplied by 1 plus US interest rate. So this is a simple time value of money formula. And the same thing, maturity value in dollar, maturity value in local currency, they're exactly the same, right? Because dollar happens to be our local currency. So ending value, if you invest in the US, is this much for initial investment of $1. Very easy. Now let's take a look at the UK case. So we said we were going to invest for 1 year, also in default-free securities, so our default risk is 0. Our initial investment in dollar is that $1 that we have, but then now we have to convert it into the local currency, which happens to be pound, right? So what we will do is we are going to take that $1, convert it into pound at the spot rate, and then we'll have certain amount of pounds. So remember, in this case, spot rate is quoted in direct terms. So in other words, we're talking about dollar price of 1 pound. So that's why we take $1 divided by the spot rate to get the amount of pounds that we will be investing in the UK. So this is the amount we will invest in the UK. Then our maturity value in local currency is simply the initial amount we invested in the UK. So this amount of pounds multiplied by UK interest rate, 1 plus UK interest rate. So again, just a simple time value of money formula. Then the maturity value in dollars is obtained when we convert this amount into dollars. Since we do not want to deal with exchange rate risk and we do not know what the future spot rate is going to be in 1 year's time, what we will do is upfront at the outset of getting into this investment, we will hedge our exchange rate by selling this amount forward at the forward rate. So what that means is we will be converting this amount, this entire amount of pounds into dollars at the forward rate. And this will be the amount of dollars that we will have in 1 year's time once we collect our maturity value of UK investment. And remember, this forward rate is something we agree upon at the outset of this investment, so there's no exchange rate risk. So let's see what we have. We have these two options. We can invest in the US. Let's summarize it. We can invest in the UK. Both investments have same time period of 1 year. Both investments have same level of risk, which means 0 default risk. And both investments also have no exchange rate risk, remember. So when you invest in the US, your domestic currency is dollar, so there's no exchange rate risk. When you invest in the UK, you actually hedge your exchange rate risk by selling the exact pound maturity value forward at the forward rate, so there's no exchange rate risk. So essentially, zero default risk and zero exchange rate risk with both of these options. Your initial investment amount is the same. So when you have predetermined payoffs over the same investment period and same initial investment, then their maturity values have to be the same, right? What we're saying is if you have same investment period, same level of risk, and same initial investment, well, the outcomes have to be the same. So what that means is outcome from investing in the US side has to equal the outcome we get from investing in the UK. Then to simplify, I can get rid of the currency symbols and the ones, and what it comes down to is this. And this is interest rate parity. And this is how we derive interest rate parity in a very simple, intuitive way. And to summarize it, you can rearrange the equation and write it as such. It doesn't really matter. So the bottom line is interest rate parity is a relationship we get when we apply law of one price to international money market instruments. Remember, we essentially said investing in the US and investing in the UK seem to be the same because they both have same payoff, they have same investment period, same initial investment, same level of risk. So, well, we're comparing apple to an apple, so their ultimate maturity values have to be the same. And that's how we were able to get this interest rate parity equation. Just a note here, exchange rates are quoted in direct terms, meaning you have dollar per one unit of foreign currency. And if we do not have exchange rates in direct terms, then remember the equation will be different. It will look slightly different. So just be careful about how exchange rates are quoted. And sometimes you will see interest rate parity approximated as such too.